Jagrif, Jamestris. The long and the short of spirituality and of life, which are the same thing, is you're either running away from yourself or you're running toward yourself. And those selves, in the Gita, they talk about Atman, and in one case they capitalize it, and in one case they don't. So you're either running away from your problematic self, your ego self, your personal self, your psychological self, your disturbed self. You know what I mean by that. Or you're running toward your true self, your conscious self, the awareness of your being, the essence of your being. That's all. There's nowhere in between. You're doing one or the other. What does it mean? And why would you run away from yourself? Because it's not comfortable inside. First of all, who's running away? The self. Don't get confused by using the same word. It is you in there, you who live in there, you who look through the eyes, you who hear through the ears, you who notices your thoughts, you who feels your heart. There's somebody in there. There's a consciousness and awareness of being in there. That's you. You're the same you. If your heart hurts, your heart feels wonderful, you're the person who notices. If you're happy or you're sad, you know that. How do you know? You say to me, I'm so happy. How do you know? I don't care that you're happy. I want to know how you know that you're happy. That's way deeper. Don't get caught in happy. Don't get caught in sad. Somebody is aware that there was sadness, now there's happiness. Someone was aware that there was loneliness, now there's love. Otherwise you wouldn't know. Somebody asks you, how you doing? How do I know? That's not what you say. I'm doing great. I'm doing terrible. You know this. Why? Because you're in there and you're conscious. If I ask you, what do you see on the wall? You say a picture. I'm not going to ask you of what. I'm going to ask you, how do you know? How do you know you see a picture? Like, you get very mad at me. It's very frustrating to talk to me. What do you mean? I know. There's a picture. You want to hear about it? No, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to know anything about it. I want to know how you know that you see a picture. There's no answer to that. The answer is, I am that I am. I exist. If I think about how I know, then I'm noticing my thoughts about how I know. That's not me. I'm the one who's noticing. That's so simple, it's ridiculous. That is the essence of life and the essence of spirituality. You are in there. You are aware. You are aware of your thoughts, you're aware of your emotions, and you are aware of the world that is coming in through your senses. And you're aware of your body, which is part of the world that's coming in through your senses, by the way. So you're aware of these things. Fine. That's who's running away from themselves. There's only one of you in there. If anybody's doing anything, it's you. There's not an evil you and a good you. There's you who notices that in front of me there's something that wants to do good and something that wants to do bad, and they're arguing with each other. How do you know? I can't make up my mind. How do you know? You who's noticing the argument, you who's noticing the mind go back and forth, you who's noticing the heart open and close, that's what matters, not whether the heart is open or closed. It's the one who notices. You are just as spiritual if you come to say, oh, Mickey, since he or she left me, my heart hurts so much. It feels like it's being torn out of my chest. I'm going to touch your feet. You mean you know that? I don't know that about you. I'm looking hard. I don't see nothing. You're in there noticing that your heart hurts? Wow, you must be a great being that you're able to sit there and watch the heart hurt. You say to me, no, I don't want the heart to hurt. There. In other words, you want to run away from what you're seeing. You don't want to see the heart hurting. Why? Hearts can hurt. Hearts can feel good. Have you noticed they can? I mean, literally, noticed. Have you noticed that your heart can hurt? Yes or no? Have you noticed that it can feel elated and wonderful and filled with love? Okay? What do you care? It's just something you notice. Have you noticed there's a picture on that wall and not one on that wall? Consciousness is the highest thing in the universe. The object of consciousness, yeah, they run from alpha to omega. They run from yin to yang. There's all kinds of things that you're conscious of. None of them have anything to do with the greatness of who's conscious. If all of those things existed and there was no such thing as consciousness, nothing has meaning. If no one ever, and I mean even an ant, if nothing conscious ever experiences something, it might as well not exist. It has no purpose, no meaning at all. If something is conscious of it, that gives it meaning. Meher Baba talked like this, right? Great avatar. Meher Baba said every single thing in the whole universe is a zero. A zero has no meaning, nothing. Well, how do you give it meaning? Stick a 1 in front of the zeros, and it has infinite meaning, doesn't it? Consciousness gives meaning to everything, even to a heart that hurts. Who was it? I never get it right. The Tin Man or the Straw Man? Somebody wanted a heart. Tin Man wanted a heart. Okay. So fine. He wanted one. He didn't say, I want one that never hurts. I want a heart. I want to know what it's like to feel a heart. I want to know what it's like to have thoughts. They're not all going to be good. Well, but at least I have thoughts. At least I know I have thoughts. It's something I experience in the world. I told you, the way to appreciate and understand consciousness, an object of consciousness, is I'm going to pluck you out of here and take you into outer space. Not hard, just get you into outer space. All right? Well, I don't have to look for a place to put you where there's nothing, because that's what's in outer space. Nothing. The sun is 93 million miles away. What's in between? Nothing. That's what's going on between you and the sun. And I told you, I can't help myself, I'm sorry. The next closest star, you see stars at night, you look at them, right? You don't see anything compared to what there is. But the next closest star is 4.5 light years away. That means nothing to you until I tell you that if you held a light beam above the earth and let it go for 1 second, it would circumnavigate the globe 7.5 times. A little bit fast? 1. All right? Go at that speed every second for 4.5 years, and you will reach the next star. What's in between? I say nothing. They have a fancy name for the nothing. Interstellar space. That's what they call it. Interstellar space, right? Basically, there's nothing. So if I plucked your consciousness from where it is now, seeing these things, and put you out there, there's no color, no shape, no sound, no this, no nothing. Nothing. There you are. Okay? There's consciousness seeing nothing. Okay? If all of a sudden I brought a roach, you'd freak out. You'd run after it. You'd be so excited. Why? Because you like to experience things. If I put a color up there that now you say, I hate that color. Yellows and blacks, bright yellows and blacks next to each other. Oh, my God. If I put those colors up there, you would just have ecstasy. Oh, my God, there's color. I forgot what color looks like. You wouldn't be saying, I like it, I don't like it. Do you understand that? So I'm doing this with you. So you have all these experiences. You have a heart that can feel different things. You have a mind that can think different things. You have eyes that can see different things, ears that can hear different things. What a blessing. That's unbelievable, and all you do is complain about everything. Everything you see, everything you hear, everything you touch, it doesn't feel good. It feels slimy. If you were in outer space and something felt slimy, you'd go, you hug it to pieces. Oh, you slimy. Okay? So you understand consciousness is aware of the objects of consciousness. Consciousness gives meaning. If the objects are there and there's no consciousness, it means nothing. It hasn't any meaning. So there you get the beginning position of what is going on. The problem is you can't handle it. You can't handle what? You can't handle, listen to me, I'm accusing you. It's an accusation. You can't handle the objects of consciousness. Let me repeat that. You can't handle the objects of consciousness. Which one? I don't have a book big enough. There's not a list big enough. So what the heck you can't handle? If it's too slimy, if it's too hot, if it's too cold, if it's too there, or if it's not slimy enough, if it's too male, if it's too female, if it's too tall, if it's too short, if it's too rainy, if it's too... The list is pretty big, isn't it? How much can the heart hurt before you freak out? Everything. Oh my God. It's unbelievable. So you're having these experiences for which you should be grateful. I'm serious. That's what gratitude is. I'm grateful that I am not out there in the middle of outer space where there's nothing. I ended up on this planet. Whoa. I'll tell you what. I wouldn't even put you in the middle of outer space. I'm going to be very kind to you today. I'm going to pick you up and put you on Mars. Let's see how long you last. There's nothing going on Mars. It's just a bunch of dirt. I think you want back here really quickly. All right? So you've landed on a place where the objects of consciousness are multitude. They're everything. And it's not just external objects. You are also aware of these myriad of thoughts, are you not? Do you have thoughts? Well, what if you didn't? You complain about your thoughts. They're nice things to have, but not that one. That's like saying, well, weather is nice to have, not when it's rainy, when I don't want it to be. You just understand that the very fact that your consciousness is experiencing objects of consciousness is grace. It's a blessing. It doesn't matter what the object is. The fact that there is one and that you get to experience, that goes for all your emotions. They are things you experience, are they not? That goes for all the weather. It's stuff you experience, is it not? That goes for all the people in all their different myriad shapes and sizes. They are things you experience, are they not? What's wrong with that? That's all spirituality asks you. That's what God asks you. I created the universe. What's God's position? Right? God's position is very simple. I created the whole universe. There was nothing. Literally, there was nothing. And I created the entire universe with everything. But what good is it if I can't experience it? What if you're a great artist and you make something, but you can't experience it? You never see it. That's not fun, right? You want to see what you created. You want to experience what you created. You want to express yourself. Yes, you want to express yourself, but you want to experience the expression, don't you? So the great artist created the universe, and he wants to experience it. So he looks down through your eyes. That's all that's happening. You are the fulfillment of creation. You are the purpose of all of creation. Your consciousness is the divine consciousness experiencing this part of what he created, or it, she. I'm not going to call it an it. I'm not being sexist, but I'm not going to call God an it. So put up with, I say he or she. I'll alternate, okay? Whatever that consciousness is looking down, and it's seeing what it made. But it's only seeing a little bit. That's why there's lots of eyes. That's why there's lots of different places. It's also looking through the roach's eyes, so don't step on a thing. That's what ahimsa means. That's where Gandhi got. That's where the deep teachings are. Everything that is alive, what does that mean? There's consciousness in it. It cares if you step on it. A rock does not care if you step on it. A roach does, right? That's why they run away from you. The net result is the consciousness is looking out and experiencing creation through myriad different ways. Flies have all those 6,000 facets of their eyes. They see it different than you see it. And everybody sees it different. And they're all seeing different aspects of creation. That's what's meant by yin and yang. That's what's meant by when the Gita talks about the gunas, the qualities of nature. It is not that everything's just nice. There are not nice things. There are nice things. There are bright things. There are dim things. There are loud things. There are quiet things. There's everything. How dare you say the loud things are bad and the quiet things are good? How dare you say that the white things are nice and then the green ones are not? What are you doing? That's the problem. So creation is very straightforward. It is amazing that it exists, and you should be grateful that you get to experience it. That's what appreciation means. What you think appreciation means, you as humanity, I'm not talking you personally, what you think appreciation is, I got what I wanted. I'm in a state of great appreciation. The person I've always had a crush on said they have a crush on me. Right? Then you found out they say it to everybody. You have experiences. Aren't you grateful for that? The problem is you're comparing the experiences you're having against the ones you decided you wanted, instead of comparing the experience you're having against nothing. That's everything I try to teach you, right? If you're going to compare properly. What if there was nothing? What if there was nothing? How would you like that? Well, then maybe you like the rain. Maybe you like the wind. Maybe you like the hurricane. Maybe you like the mean person. Maybe you like this. Maybe you like that. How far are you willing to go? Everything is better than nothing. Anything is better than nothing. Consciousness wants to experience creation. You are that. You are God's gift present here experiencing himself. All right. What's wrong with that? What's so hard about that? That's called returning to the garden. When you're in the garden, you're just experiencing what there is. There's no problems. Why? You're not creating any. How could there be a problem? If I put you on Mars, you're going to find lots of problems. There were no problems on Mars before you showed up. You showed up, and all of a sudden there's all these problems, right? Oh my God, it's uneven. The dust gets in my face, and it doesn't. All right, there you have the essence of what's going on. You have developed inside of you. You did this, a personal self. That's the best word I know about. You've developed a personal self, not the self. The self is the consciousness which is aware of the objects. You played God. You created an object that wasn't there before. There were rocks and there were trees and there were people and there were all kinds of things going on. But you made one where there wasn't one. Outside, I had the ability to create things that didn't exist. No, no one gave you that ability. You can rearrange them, right? But nobody gave you the ability to just create out of nothing, okay? But inside, in your mind, you do whatever you want. You were given a mind. You're not your mind. It's an object that you play with. Just like you were given the world. You're not the world. It's something you mess with, play around with, you experience it. Right? In your mind, you can do anything you want. You know what you do with your mind? Just make believe. Buddhists talk about empty mind. That doesn't mean you're stupid. A computer that you buy that doesn't have programs on it isn't stupid. It has just as much power as the one that has programs on it. But until it gets a program, it hasn't been told to do anything. Right? Empty mind is not stupid. Empty mind means you're not running a program at the moment. Your mind has the right to do that. It has the right to return to a state of just being. All right? We don't have that ability. We got stuck with the programs. So what you did with your empty mind, with your pure mind, what happens if mind is pure? When you look out through your eyes, it doesn't distort what you're seeing. This is going to make me cry. Right? When you look out now through your eyes, you don't see what's there. You see whether you like it, whether you don't like it, whether it's tall, whether it's short, whether it reminds you of things. Do you understand that? Your mind gets in the way of your ability to see. There's noise goes on in there when you look, isn't there? That means you can't see because your consciousness is split between the outside objects of consciousness and the inside object of consciousness. Therefore, you're not seeing properly. You're splitting that. If you're half watching TV, and yet you're listening to the kid crying or deciding what you need to do or thinking about things, you're not watching TV. You're partially watching TV. If you put a book in front of you, but you're upset or excited about something, right? And you read it, and you're reading it. The words are going past your head, and you're turning the pages. And you turn 4 pages, you did not read a single thing. Ever happened to you? All right? So you're not really reading the book. That's such a perfect example. Where were you when these words were coming in? Your mind was elsewhere. But your eyes were still reading the words. It's so funny. So you don't think that's spiritual. That's very spiritual. That's the essence of teaching. If you understand this, your consciousness can be on the mind. Your consciousness can be on the emotions. Your consciousness can be on your body sensations. Your consciousness can be on the outside world, can't it? Or it can be split. So that when you're doing something such as reading, if more of your consciousness is on the thoughts, even though your eyes are crossing the piece of paper and you're turning it, not enough consciousness is on it for you to get it. And then pick any ratio you want. There's enough for you to get it, but it didn't go in deep enough. You won't remember a single thing, but you felt like you read it. That's what you do in school when you hear the professor's lecture. So, I think I heard him. I took notes. I'll read it later. Well, I'll read it later. Weren't you there? Well, not so much. So your consciousness gets split between the objects of consciousness. All right? What we're talking about is if the mind is still, if the mind is not one of the objects of consciousness that is attracting or distracting your consciousness, you are one-pointedly focused. See, that's why they teach you meditating on a candle. That ability to not have your mind scattered and have your consciousness scattered throughout your emotions, your mind, and the objects of consciousness, all of a sudden, all of your being, all of your consciousness is focused down on one object. It's a very high state. You're going to come back and say, oh my God, it was better than love. It was better than anything I've ever experienced. Of course it was, because you actually experienced it. You are the consciousness. That's the only thing that can actually experience is the consciousness. If one-pointedly you put all of your consciousness on one thing, why do you think intimacy or graduating or having some special moment is so special to you? Because it's enough to distract you from the normal garbage that goes on inside your mind and inside your heart and all the other distractions of the world, all right? Go see a sunset. They used to pull you into it and you just totally got lost. What is that? You weren't thinking other things. You weren't feeling other things. You weren't seeing other things. And you're going to sit there and say, oh my God, you don't understand. It was like a spiritual experience. No, it was not like a spiritual experience. It was a spiritual experience. Because the whole of your spirit, consciousness, was drawn down to one-pointedness. But it wasn't a candle, and you didn't have to use will. You understand that? It attracted you enough, that's a key word, it attracted your awareness, your interest enough to where one-pointedness took place and it became a spiritual experience. All right? So now you can run around and try to find spiritual experiences, or you can understand that you are making it so they don't happen by scattering your mind all over the place. All right? It's busy thinking about this, and then it wonders why I can't be okay. How can you be okay if you have a mind that's telling you you're not? If your mind is sitting there, you're too sure, you think that nobody could really have you, did anything. Plus, you made that mistake. You told he'll never forgive you for that. I don't care what he says he does because he's nice, but he really wasn't. Oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Okay, very good. How you doing? So now we're going to talk about what it means to run away from yourself. You did that with your mind. That is not the natural state of your mind. The truly natural state of your mind is empty mind, like the Buddhists say. It's pure empty. When you want to use it, you use it. When you don't want to use it, it's still. I tell you, it's like your arm. You all got an arm, right? Nice thing to have. Use it for various things, don't you? When you're using it, you're playing the piano, you're picking things up, you're doing different things, you're writing. It's very nice to have an arm. When you are not using the arm, like when you're watching TV, you don't need your arm. What does it do? It sits there. It doesn't say anything, doesn't do anything. It kind of sits there. It's a good thing, like a hammer. You use it when you're supposed to, unless you're jumping around by itself, right? If all of a sudden you're watching TV and your arm's doing this, okay, I always do this with you, show you, right? If your arm was doing that, it would have take you 10 seconds, you go to a doctor. There's something wrong with my arm. Why don't you do that with your mind? So if your mind doesn't stop, there's something wrong with it. It's not, I need to find something that it likes so that it is nice. There, let's see, that's what we're talking about. This is what it means to run away from yourself. What did you do with your mind? You did something very silly with your mind. You don't realize you did it, but you did it. Your mind has memory. Your mind has analytical power. Your mind's an amazing gift. It's a computer that was given to you. You can do anything you want with it, anything. When you're not using it, it should be still. When you want to use it, it's brilliant, okay? But that's not what you did. What you did is you collected things inside your mind that bothered you. I always teach you this. It's a different. Do you understand you did that? Are you guilty or not? Do you remember what mommy did that you didn't like? That doesn't need to be in there. It happened 20 years ago. I don't know why that's in there. Why would that be in there? I don't understand. Why is even yesterday in there? Why if you walk by a friend of yours and you said hello and they didn't say hello back, right? And the next day, 2 days later, you see them, you feel weird. You don't know whether to say hello again because it hurt. Well, I don't understand. Why are you carrying that inside of you? Why? I'm scolding you. Do you understand? It's an absurd thing to do. You're sitting there keeping them inside of you because you're afraid of them, because you don't want them to happen again. I'm going to remember Sally didn't say hello to me. I'm not going to say hello to her, but I shall give her a cold shoulder. Spirituality says the following. If you make a collection of disturbing experiences within your mind is going to be disturbed. Right? Have you made a collection of disturbing experiences? Every single one that ever happened to you. And they come back and haunt you, don't they? So this reminds me of, you remind me of my father. Well, you're talking to a woman. Your father's been dead for 30 years. You remind me of my father. He used to sit like that. Wow, I'm proud of you. No, him. He's the one who's sitting like that. All right? So you have a mind. And what you did with the mind is collect all these experiences that either bothered you or really turned you on. I know you have trouble with that one. Well, why would I not collect the ones that turn me on? Because then you can't experience the new ones that would turn you on. Because you're very busy trying to recreate the ones that turned you on before. That's what's meant by a negative and a positive samskara. These are impressions that happen to you that should be gone. If they are gone out, here's the rule. If it ain't happening outside, it ain't happening inside. If you want to talk about spirituality, you are running away from yourself your entire life. That's what you're doing now. You have stored all this stuff in there of things that bother you. You don't want them to happen again. So you're deciding where you live, who you're with, what you like, what you don't like, what you buy, what you don't buy, all trying to create a situation where that which bothers you doesn't happen and that which turns you on does. Anybody guilty of that? Right? And you think that's the meaning of life. Getting things the way I want and avoiding things that I don't want. All right? That's called running away from yourself. How come she's doing something totally different than you? How come you're doing something totally different than it was 3 years ago? Because you stored different things inside your head. All right? So you basically got this whole collection inside your mind, which the psychologists call your self-concept. This is my concept of what I like and what I don't like. What's it based on? My past experiences. That's why Skinner says man is the sum of his learned experiences. It is not true. You are not the sum of your learned experiences. You are the one who notices that your mind and your emotions are the sum of your learned experiences. Your psyche is the sum of your learned experiences, isn't it? Okay? You're in there looking at this thing, and it's telling you what you like and what you don't like, et cetera, all based on what you experienced in the past. So you eventually look at this and you realize that's just a bunch of balderdash. If these things are not happening, reality is happening, but I can't experience reality because I have to look through my mind, and my mind is judging everything based on what happened in the past, based on what I like and based on what I don't like. It's hard to talk about because we all live that way, and people haven't experienced what it's like to not live that way. That's what an enlightened being doesn't do. That's what be here now means, is you're doing what's now instead of doing what was, instead of comparing the now against what you like and what you don't like. Like and dislike are the most overrated things in the universe. If you are devoting yourself to like and dislike, boy, that is so shallow. If something different happened to you 3 years ago, you'd like something different. Right? What about you in there? You in there that is experiencing the things. That's what it means to seek self-realization, is to, instead of paying attention to this psyche that you built by collecting what you like and dislike and all that garbage in there, you pay attention to the one who notices this. That's why I said, if your heart hurts, good. Good. You get to experience a heart that hurts. It's something hearts can do. Have you noticed hearts can hurt? All right. So what does it mean to run away from yourself, to stay on topic here, right? It means I can't handle it. Why would you run away from something? I can't handle it. You don't run away from everything. You run away from things you can't handle. Why can't you handle it? That becomes the essence. What does it mean to run away from it? To try to create a world outside that when it comes in doesn't disturb me. Try to create a world outside. People, places, things, jobs, experiences, finances, health conditions, everything. Try to create a world outside so that when I experience it, it doesn't disturb what I collected inside of me. That turns me on. That turns me off. I feel sorry for you. Well, why would something turn you on or turn you off? It's none of your business. There's a creation outside. You didn't make it. It's going on everywhere. It's the entire universe. There's 700 billion quillion things going on at the same time. Which ones did you do? None, basically. You're experiencing creation. That's what this is. It took 13.8 billion years for you guys to get here. And every single thing had to happen exactly like it did. Do you understand that? If your great-great-great-grandmother didn't meet your great-great-great-grandfather, I don't think that has anything to do with you. You ain't here. Here it is. These are the hydrogen atoms. You hear me? These are the hydrogen atoms that existed in the thick clouds after the Big Bang. They put themselves together into this. So there is a world in front of you that got created at the end of 13.8 billion years. And then there's a new one every single second. You get to experience that. The problem is you have collected within your mind what you like and what you don't like. That's what you did. I don't know how to talk about it any clearer, right? Well, why did I do that? Based on the experiences you had. Some experiences felt good, some experiences felt bad. That's normal. It's yin and yang. It's the nature of things. You're not going to change it. It's there. That the Gita teaches you that. Tamas, Rajas, Sattvan. The gunas, the qualities of nature. Dark, sloth, low energy, that's tamas. Rajas, passionate, either passionate scared or passionate like. Passionate for or against. Busy activity. And sattvic, peacefulness, calm, gentleness. Weather can be that way, can't it? Rivers can be stagnant, right? Or they can be rushing, or they can be pure. It's like everything has that nature, including your mind. So what? That's the beauty of the Gita. That's why it's so deep, why the greatest masters say it's the greatest thing ever written. It doesn't teach that you're supposed to make it sattvic. It doesn't teach. It absolutely, the Gita does not teach that you're supposed to raise energies to where everything in the world becomes pure and everything becomes kind. It doesn't teach that. It says, who's the one who notices that there's low energy? Who's the one that notices that there's passion and energy? Who's the one that notices, oh my God, my mind became so still in meditation. I never experienced that before. Who is having the experience of the quiet mind? Who is having the experience of the dull, spacey mind? Who is having the experience of the excited, passionate, or scared mind? And the same thing with the emotions. Oh, my heart, it's the first time in my life it became so still. It was like everything was fine. It was so quiet. Before I was passionate, trying to get what I wanted and afraid. And then sometimes I didn't feel my heart at all. There, Tamas, Rajas, Sattva. You described them every single moment of your life. The question is not their state. The question is, who's experiencing their state? How do you know those things are happening? That's why yoga philosophy is called a transcendental philosophy. It transcends the gunas. It transcends the quality of nature. That sounds weird. What transcends? You do. You are the same one who notices the heart hurt, that notices the heart feel good, that notices the heart fall in love. Were you in there when you were 10? Did you go to high school? Did you notice how weird it was in there when you were in high school? Are you still in there? It's not the same, but me who noticed it is the same. You are the soul. You are the Atman. You are the consciousness. You are the essence. What word do you want to call it? You are the self. All right? And you are looking out. I said, like literally, when you were 5 years old, you looked in the mirror. Did you see the body that you see now? Was it you looking? It hasn't changed. There's you. The only difference is, can you handle what you're looking at? That's spirituality. Not how do I find the self. You are the self. Who are you? Who's looking? Who is this? You are the consciousness. The problem is you can't handle what you're looking at. There's nothing wrong with you, but you can't handle what you're looking at. What does that mean? That is called the evolution of the soul. But I thought the soul was perfect. Yeah, well, I thought you were perfect. You were great. You had a great family, but you sat down to watch TV, and now you can't get up. Why? Because it's so interesting. What happened in the family? What family? The truth is you're fine, but you put your consciousness on something that is limited, the TV screen, and now you're not able to experience the wholeness of your being. Is the wholeness still there? Of course it is. It's just meditating on the TV screen. You all know how to meditate very, very well. You'll understand one-pointedness. Just a really good movie for 2 hours, meditated. You're gone. No body consciousness, no personal consciousness, right? If your consciousness gets drawn towards something, then that's what you experience. Right now your consciousness is drawn towards your personal mind, towards your neurotic personal mind where you stored all the stuff that ever bothered you and so on. But you are perfect. Back there you're perfect. You who's looking is perfect. You don't have to perfect yourself. The problem is you can't handle what you're looking at. And because you can't handle what you're looking at, you keep looking at it. If something really bothered you, you get fixated on it, don't you? Go have a car accident and be afraid of getting in a car again. Don't you understand that all the days you drove before you were fine? They're no different now than they are to me. That's right, because your mind got screwed up. As I was saying, you have to look through your mind to see reality. Now reality looks different. All right, so what you do as a normal human being is you can't handle what you're looking at, and you can't handle your mind. Human beings cannot handle their minds. If they could, they wouldn't act like human beings. They would understand they could rest back in the seat of self and feel ecstasy and joy for absolutely no reason, because that's the nature of self. It's just joy. You just feel it all the time, right? But you can't feel that. Why? Because you're looking at a mind that for sure can't feel it because it's all screwed up. How did my mind get screwed up? You did it. You collected every single experience that ever bothered you inside your mind, and now you wonder why you're bothered. Not only is your mind bothered because you made a collection of bothered things, but you are staring at them because they're so fascinating. You like to talk about them. No, you don't understand. What happened to my child was way worse than yours. Let me tell you exactly what happened. It was really terrible, right? No, listen. You have to listen. Wow. How old are you? 55. When did it happen? When I was 5. I'm not going to listen. Do you hear me? Okay? There is no reason that stuff is in there except that you can't handle it. Other people's parents got divorced. Lots of people's parents got divorced. They talk about it. There's nothing. They don't want to go, let's go on a blog and talk about people whose parents got divorced 50 years ago. No, I have better things to do. I don't think that's what I'm going to do, right? But why do you do it? Because I can't handle it. Do you understand? It's always down to there's an object of consciousness, and then there's consciousness experiencing it. Are you capable of experiencing it and letting it go? No. Why? There is something drastically wrong with your mind. You stored garbage in it, and now it stinks. Now it keeps bothering you. It's not your mind's fault. It's your fault. You did that. It is not that you can't handle the world. You can't handle what your mind does about the world. Go be in a relationship and go right on the verge of getting married. You're engaged, you have a beautiful ring, everything's wonderful, right? And then all of a sudden he goes weird, takes the ring back, all that goes on, right? Now, 2 years later, see a ring that looks a little bit like it, or have someone tell you, I just got engaged, and they're all excited. They don't want to tell you that. You're going to bring them down. Yeah, I know. I know all about engagements. So it's not that the ring that you saw or that the word engage has anything. There's nothing. But you can't handle the word engagement. You can't handle a diamond ring because you stored that stuff inside of you. So it's not that the ring is bothering you. It's not that the word engagement is bothering you. It's that your mind is bothering you when the word comes in. Well, why would my mind bother me about a ring? Why would my mind bother me about the word engagement? Everybody else gets all excited by the word engagement, and they want to see the ring. Why do you get weird? Because I stored inside my mind this event that happened 3 years ago. Now when I see a ring or I hear the word engagement, my mind gets weird. Do you understand? It doesn't even have to actually happen. You could have a dream that you couldn't handle. And now something in the world happens that reminds you of the dream, and you're freaked out by what happened. So your mind can get disturbed. And when you're in there experiencing a disturbed thing, you don't like it. You can't handle it. So what do? You try to either run away from it or run towards something else. You sit there and talk to this poor young girl who got engaged. Yeah, it happened to me too. I sit down for a minute. Coming back to reality here, Miss Excited. And you sit there and lay a trip on this poor little girl's head about what happened to you. That thing has nothing to do with you. Oh, yes, it does. No, it doesn't. And yours happened 3 years ago. Hers happened yesterday. What's the matter with you? And you feel better, don't you, after you do that? She says, God, thanks for waking me up. I was so excited. What an idiot I was, right? So basically, you felt better because you got to talk about the thing you stored inside. That psychology teaches you it releases energy. You're not suppressing it, right? You knew something was bothering you. Now it feels much better. That's why you talk to the person when you're done. You sit there and say, God, I really enjoyed talking to you. I feel much better. The person says, I don't. This is called running away from yourself. So now you have built a self, a lower self, personal self, the ego self. You built this inside your mind. Do you understand that self? That thing you made. It's not real. You made it up. All you had to do was handle the fact that your parents got divorced, handle the fact that this schnook, thank God the schnook took the ring back and left. Better he do it before you get married than after. If he engages to you and he loves you, and all of a sudden one day he meets somebody else or he does something else, that's not nothing to do with you. You're blessed. Thank God. You should be thanking God. But you didn't. You took it personal, you stored it inside, right? Okay, so basically you wake up and you realize, if I do that, I'm going to have trouble with the world. The world's not trouble. I'm going to have trouble with the world because my mind is going to bother me. What am I going to do about it? That's where I started the talk. What am I going to do about the fact that my mind or my heart are bothering me? Now, do you understand why they're bothering you? They're bothering you because you stored all this stuff inside that's very bothersome, all right? And now they're bothering you. The world bothers you. The world should not bother you. It should be exciting. It should be interesting. It should be fascinating. Thank God I'm experiencing things. See how it all ties together? All right? But now you can't do that. Why? Because you stored bother inside of you. The world bothers you. All right? You have a choice. Either run outside and try to create a world that doesn't bother you. Wow. Good luck. You know who did that? His name was Adolf Hitler. Create a world that doesn't bother me. So he tried to do, didn't he? No Jews, no Catholics, no blacks, all Germans. We own the world. You know, we're the most powerful. What he just was bothered, obviously. Why was Adolf bothered by Jews? Well, that's ridiculous. And because he's bothered, I have to create a world that they don't exist. That's all. It's very simple, right? He was bothered. So you're bothered by something else. You understand that? He was just really bothered by some really sick stuff. So now he went outside to try to create a world, and he made quite a mess, didn't he? For everybody by doing that. Well, you do too. You create quite a mess by going out there and try to manipulate people, places, and things so they don't bother you, and try to get them a way that makes you feel good. It's all about you. That's why it's called ego. Everything you're doing is I'm bothered by things and I can't handle them, or some things turn me on and I can handle those, right? So you're out there trying to create a world that when it comes in doesn't disturb your disturbed mind, or create a world that happens to hit your mind in the way that it reminds you of the things that you liked. Wow, what do you think you're going to do to people, places, and things around you? You're going to make a mess. It's just mini Hitlers running around, creating a tremendous mess, really. All I care about is making the world be the way that when it comes in feels good, and have it not be the way that when it comes in feels bad. And I will do anything it takes to make that happen. Do we see that happening in the world today? I will do anything it takes, period. Okay? Wars, this, that, lies, things, everything, whatever it takes to get my way. Why? Because I can't handle it. All right. So that's called running away from yourself. You have the self inside that you built. God did not do it. You were given free will, and that's what you decided to do. I told you, you have to look at it that way. We're going to do a hobby today, children. You get to collect whatever you want. Teaspoons, stamps are exciting. Coins, people collect coins. No, I want to collect bad experiences. Okay. Collect bad experiences. And I don't want to put them into a room where I have to go to get them. I want them always with me. Hope you're having fun, all right? So now you have to run away from yourself because your self is bothering you. Your lower self is bothering you. So I said there's two things you can do in this world. You either run away from yourself, and that's what everyone's doing, or you're running toward yourself. What does that mean? You have woken up enough to realize that you're in there and that you can't handle your mind and you cannot handle your heart. Therefore, you're out there trying to manipulate people, places, and things, so when they come in, you can't handle it, right? The alternative, which is called spirituality, it's the only thing that's spiritual, is to realize, wait a minute, I'm in here. I'm noticing a heart. Why can't I handle it? Not, why can't I make the world be the way so that when it comes in, I can handle my heart? It's like, whoa, that's really complicated, right? Considering every moment changes in front of you. Good luck. How you doing so far? Not real good. Do you understand that? I always tell you, you know how I know you're not doing good? Because you're still trying to get it the way you want it. You've been doing it your entire life. What does it mean to run toward the self instead of running away from the lower self? It means to take a seat of consciousness and work on being able to handle things. That's what it means. The great way is not difficult for those who have no preferences. When he uses love and hate, but I use like and dislike. When like and dislike are both absent, everything becomes clear and undisguised. Make the slightest distinction, however, and heaven and earth are set infinitely apart. If you wish to see the truth, hold no opinion for or against anything. To set aside what you like from what you dislike is a disease of the mind. That's the third Zen patriarch, the beginning of the third Zen patriarch, the greatest Zen teaching. It's a treatise on faith mind. In other words, if your mind is not in there looking at the world and saying, I can't handle it, it needs to be the way I want it to be. Why? Because I can't handle it. So instead, you wake up and you realize, I should be able to handle my own mind. Not I should be able to handle the world. Most of the world doesn't bother you. The only part that bothers you is hit your mind wrong. Okay? I should be able to handle it. And that becomes your spiritual path. Why can't I handle reality? That's what a spiritual person says to themselves constantly. So spirituality is saying, I'm in here. You're going to get shivers. I'm in here and I can handle it. What? It. Everything. Whoa. Whoa. How's that? That's what it means to run towards yourself instead of running away from yourself. Instead of running away from your lower self that you can't handle, right? You start by handling yourself. Yes, there are times that jealousy comes up inside of me. It's been that way, I don't know, been that way for a while, whatever. There are times that remind me of my ex. It's really complicated to take time aside. Well, there's something wrong with you. Doesn't mean it's not that way, but you start off by saying, I don't want it to be that way. I have an ex. I like it. All my exes live in Texas. Have fun. Say, great, you have an ex. Somebody else doesn't have an ex. They lose, you have one. You got to have something they didn't have. You're special. Right? That's how you should look at everything. Handle it. Handle yourself. So when it comes up and it's disturbing, time for growth. Time for growth. All right. Now how do I handle if I can't handle? Like, it's a nice talk. Imagine if you could handle everything. Wow. Kind of fun, right? How do I learn to handle it? You start with, I teach you this all the time. You don't start with your ex. You don't start with these things. You start with the weather, right? You're never going to change the weather. Do you understand that? Not the weather you're experiencing. Therefore, bothering yourself about it is the dumbest thing in the entire universe. Start by handling the weather. What do you mean? Don't let your mind complain about it. Suppress it? No, don't suppress it. You can use positive thinking. I love rain. It waters the flowers. If it didn't rain, there wouldn't be any food. Thank you, rain. Instead of, why does it rain when I have to get out of the car? Why does it rain on my birthday? This is ridiculous. That's not helpful. That's not helpful at all. It screws you up. You might actually move to Arizona where it rains less and leave your family because they don't want to go. Imagine the commotion it creates because you can't handle the rain, can't handle the wind, can't handle humidity. It makes my hair frizzy. Like the frizzy hair. Who decided what you like and dislike? You did. Do you notice that when you like things, you're happy? You notice when you don't like things, you're not? Well, since you're deciding, decide that you like them. I'm serious. You think I'm kidding? That's what positive thinking is. That's what it means to let go of the party that's disturbed. So you come back to the seat of self always. Center yourself at all times. I don't care if you're having a good time or a bad time, whatever it is, remember I am the one that's experiencing it. And then let go. Just let go of the weather. Let go of the car in front of you. Let go of what the person said. Practice little things every day. Now you're running toward the self instead of running away from the lower self. What's going to happen? What's going to happen is because you're not hanging out with the part of you that's disturbed, you won't feel so disturbed. If you sit there and tell yourself you don't like anything, you don't like anybody, it will never be any better, I don't think you can have a good time. If you decide to let go of that part of your being, all of a sudden, instantly, you feel better. So you keep letting go, relaxing. And then what's going to happen? I always stop my talks this way because you need to know. You don't know that. The joy you feel from not bringing yourself down is nothing. When you stop bothering yourself inside, what will happen is you won't be bothering yourself. Then you'll be able to handle things. Then you'll be able to be you. What does it feel like to be you? Beyond anything you've ever experienced before times 1,000,000. It is pure ecstasy. It is, what do I need to do when I'm finished bothering myself to feel the joy? Nothing. What do I need to do if I bring the blinds up to make the sun come in? Nothing. It's the nature of things. Your nature, in the deep scriptures we call Satchidananda, eternal conscious ecstasy. You don't need to get there. You don't need to make that. That is the nature of your being. Eternal Satchidananda, eternal conscious ecstasy. Well, why don't I feel it? Because you're looking at the TV screen of all the poop you collected all your entire life. And then you wonder why you're not feeling yourself. All right? Next time you say, I feel myself today, or I don't feel myself today, let's talk about the real self. This is how you feel yourself today. Waves of pure ecstasy pouring through your being. I feel myself today. That's yourself. But you're busy focusing your consciousness on something else. All right? So instead of trying to get things the way I want them and avoid what I don't want, you're letting go of the part of you that wants and doesn't want. It's as simple as that. That's spirituality. You just keep not renouncing, just letting go. Just letting go. And then you will start to feel this joy. And then it becomes very easy. Why? When you have waves of ecstasy pouring inside of you, that's a lot more fun to pay attention to than the poop that's below you. Right? And all of a sudden you have a choice. You'll have a choice every moment of your life. You will have a choice. You have to think about it. Either hang out with the ecstasy and the joy and the love, or hang out with the problem. And guess which choice you're going to make? It's not hard. You hear me? You just keep leaning back, and it starts to suck you up into it. And now we talk about the deep spiritual states, right? Eventually, the pull becomes so strong, the rush of holy waters, the upward flow of spirit becomes so strong that you can't do anything but let go into it. And the great ones that have let go completely, they merged back. I told you, your consciousness is the divine consciousness looking down at your mind. When you cease to look down, nothing's holding you, and your consciousness merges back into the universal. Let go. Let go of what you can't handle. Learn to handle what you can't handle now. How? By relaxing through it. You can handle it. All right? I don't understand. When you get a massage, it hurts. And when they get to the part that hurts, you know what you say? Yes, there. Oh, right there, right there. Okay, do that with your mind. Oh, there's the one. Oh, that hurts really bad. Do that with your heart. Oh, my God, this never hurts. You know what I say to my heart if I want to cause trouble? Come on, you can do better than that. Hit me with your best shot. I want you to be able to handle the best shot your heart can send to you. Worst thing, your mind. Oh, my God, my mind got so disturbed when so-and-so died or this happened and so on. Right? Okay, did you get through? Yeah. Well, I guess you can handle anything. That's all about being able to handle yourself. And then you can handle the world. I told you, I end the talks by the Shakti. It's all about the Shakti. When that starts flowing, and it's always flowing, you're just looking at something else. When it starts flowing, you come in tune with it, it will pull you up. It will take care of the whole thing. And then I like to end lately, because a lot of you guys like to be activists, which is wonderful, right? Well, what about if I'm handling the world, why would I do any good? Because you're not out there trying to make the world be the way you need it to be. If you're out there trying to make the world the way you need it to be, don't call that activism. That's ego. It's just ego. It's just spiritual ego, all right? When you are done with yourself, you can do some good. But when you are out there trying to make it the way you need it to be for you to be okay, you're no different than anybody else. When you are done with yourself, and now you know what that means. You can handle yourself. You don't have to be about yourself. Now, as the world passes before you, you will find there are things you can do to raise it, to serve it, to help it as it goes by. You're a servant of the world. You're not trying to make it be what you want. You're just raising it. St. Francis, where there's sadness, let me bring joy. Where there's sorrow, let me bring happiness. Where there's sickness, let me bring health. Not me. It's not about me. Isn't that beautiful? Right? So now you understand spirituality. I would like to see you spend every moment learning to handle yourself and not making it all about making it be the way I'm okay. Just let go, relax through it, right? You are the consciousness. You're the highest thing that ever walked the face of the earth, and you can handle the object of consciousness that's you. All right? Work on these things. Jai Gurudev.